today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
We are back with episode 65 of Shop Talk. It's Kari,
And Jennifer.
and we're going to be discussing 503 of the Rookie and 102 of the Rookie Feds.
Yes, there is quite a bit of news and it's going to be a long episode, so we'll just kind of dive right on in. We've got episode descriptions for 504 of the Rookie that airs on October 16th. So it's called The Choice. And I mean, obviously, we've seen it in the preview, but Rosalind returns with a vengeance and Bailey's life is left hanging in the balance. With the ticking time clock, the LAPD and the FBI join forces, and Officer Nolan is forced to make a deadly decision after a harrowing ultimatum. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where to go from that.
Yeah. It doesn't, well, at least on my TV guide, it doesn't mention the LAPD and FBI joining forces.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. But it mentions everything else.
That's
Like
odd.
the first sentence and the last part of that second sentence.
That's odd.
Yeah. But anyway, it is the crossover
Yes.
event, so
I'm
that's
excited.
exciting. Yeah. Sorry. Wow, I'm already sidetracking us and we're barely 5 minutes in. It's fine.
No, so when I first
It's
read
fine.
the description before seeing the promo, I was like, so Bailey's gonna die. Like that's gonna be it. And then we haven't seen Jenna on set for a while, and so I was like, well, it could pan out. But then
Oh, good
we
Lord.
saw her in the promo, and now
Yeah.
we know he's got the ultimatum, and then he has to make a deadly decision. So he's got to kill Rosalind to save Bailey. But
Mhm.
yeah, there's some thoughts on why it's John Nolan and why not Lucy, because
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, it doesn't, I mean, again, I understand it from he's the main character, blah 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 blah. They have this weird relationship,
yeah,
if you can even call it that. Um, but yeah, I hope Lucy gets her piece
yeah,
in it because she has such a stake in it too.
yeah. I mean, Rosalind definitely messes with John, but I feel like it should be Lucy kind of dealing with it. But I also don't want Lucy or Chris or Tim or anyone else close to her to go through any more dangerous stuff. So
Yeah. Mhm.
but that's it for 504.
Yeah, and then we also have the episode description for 505, which is called The Fugitive. It airs October 23rd. Officer John Nolan and Officer Celina Juarez are on the hunt for a fugitive after a car incident goes awry. Meanwhile, a past injury comes to haunt Tim, and Lucy comes through during his time of need in more ways than one. So that's the one that had all the Chenfords, us included, freaking out.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's the one that he was supposedly wearing the hospital gown and that
See,
one cameo.
I'll believe it when I see it. I still if that man really just did a freaking cameo, wearing the thing, oh my God, he should know by now. You know what I mean? He should know better because everyone's gonna zoom.
Well, and one, you can't get anything past us. I mean, we all knew that Lisette was joining the cast before it was ever announced. So
Right.
It
just cracks me up. I will believe it when I see it. I just, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. And people were saying that Ashley's supposed to be in this one, and I don't know. The Chenford stuff, I mean, we saw it in this episode. There wasn't much, but there was enough. But I'm kind of wondering how much more angst we will get. So yeah, I don't know. I'm here for it. So and then this episode description dropped today, Monday, when we're recording this. And it's for 506, which airs October 30th, titled The Reckoning. And it's Officer John Nolan and sleep deprived Celina investigate a cash deposit linked to an old DEA case. Meanwhile, Wesley grows increasingly concerned about his deposition and is shocked when he realizes Elijah's attorney is a familiar face from his past. I can't imagine sleep deprived Celina, like how much different she's going to be versus her in this episode, because I feel
Yeah.
like she was acting kind of like before she thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Like, just give me all of the Celina Juarez
Yeah.
right now. I just want it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And
just curious about like the Elijah part of it though. Not that I don't like,
yeah,
obviously I'm so here for Celina. But just like what, like I don't know. My whole thing is like, well, if like Brandon was like, posting about it or like, tweeting or whatever the heck he was doing,
yeah,
um, like does that mean like Elijah's gonna represent himself? Like that's my guess. I'm probably totally wrong, but like, because like who else is gonna represent that man? Like
yeah. It's some rando or something. I
yeah,
don't know.
like I don't know.
But like someone, well, no, because he had put the picture of him like on set or something that one day, and it was just like that one picture.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that we're bringing Elijah back, but also I'm not, just the way that things were left off. I don't
yeah,
know. I feel like there's just so many things going on right now, but also like we have 3 episode descriptions, and I'm like, my mind is gonna get so confused.
yeah. I mean,
So
because I guess like I mean, obviously Elijah's gonna be in the courtroom. I just thought that'd be, because like how some like criminals on other shows
yeah,
will like just decide to randomly,
and he would be one that would be like, yeah, I'm representing myself. Like
yeah.
he would definitely be that
I
one.
don't know. I just can't think of anyone. I mean, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, they're hopefully going to give us the backstory. Like, we're not supposed to actually know who this person is
Yeah.
in relation to like Wesley. Um, but
I
I don't
can't
know.
remember if it was for this episode description or not, but I saw it somewhere that it was like, what if it's Wesley's friend, or like the lawyer lady that like Rosalind had, that Wesley was like, oh hey Beth or something. I don't know though,
Ugh, ugh.
but maybe, I don't
Oh
know.
God.
But I don't think that would be the familiar face from his past. Like I feel like they would just come out and say it, but obviously not, because it's an episode description. They want to keep it vague.
Yeah,
So we shall see. But that airs at the end of the month. So I think that's going to be kind of like our Halloween episode. I wonder if there is going to be like Halloween moments in there.
yeah.
Who knows? So
Maybe for some levity,
yeah,
hopefully.
yeah.
And then we also have an episode description for the Rookie Feds. It's their fourth episode of season one, which will air October 18th. It's called To Die For. And when the team splits up to question a suspect's father, Simone and Laura discover critical information on how their abusive relationship is connected to the crimes. Following this lead, the team heads to Tucson to save the suspect's newest target. Meanwhile, sparks fly with Laura and her former colleague Mark Atlas, I can't speak, as they debate the killer's motive. I feel like that might have changed a little bit, or maybe I'm just not remembering the whole thing.
I feel
I'm
like it did.
probably not remembering the whole thing, but it's fine. I like don't remember the like just some of the phrasing, but I remember the sparks fly thing because I was like, oh, like things are heating
Yeah.
up for Stenson. So
When I was typing it out, I was like, okay, so Simone and Laura discover critical information on how their abusive relationship is connected to the crimes.
it's like
It doesn't
wrongly
make sense.
phrased.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Because I was
very
like,
wrongly phrased.
it's like, okay, obviously that means the suspect's relationship, but like,
Yeah,
yeah, it was just weirdly phrased.
yeah.
Um, so okay, so it's safe to assume, well, I don't know. We're not having a 2-hour episode for the rookie then next week, like because Rookie Feds is its separate episode, I guess.
Oh geez, wait, hold. Oh, right. Yes, I guess.
So
Gosh
like
darn it.
Rookie Feds will be like in a different like time span. I don't know. Like it's just,
I
I don't know.
guess. But
Because
then
like
it
with
like, oh God, I
other
don't know.
when other universe shows do crossovers, they're all like in the same time span, like time. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we'll see. But like in the Rookie universe, what is the timeline? Because honestly, like who knows? Emily like had tweeted it out, and I was like trying to follow along, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take her word for it that
Oh,
like
about Aaron
she
and
figured it
being a
out.
P2.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least we got the clearly marked timeline of like 1 month later
yeah,
as opposed to like 6 weeks or
yeah,
whatever. But still, like it just there are still things even with that like, people are like, well, why are they doing this or why are they acting like this? So
yeah, yeah. And then the news had just dropped right before we started recording, but Variety had shared an article that the audience tally for the series premiere of The Rookie Feds jumped from 2.2 million to 6.3 million viewers after just 1 week of multi-platform viewing. So that's really cool. The article had said like Live Plus 7 data indicates that like there was a 400% increase in viewership after 7 days of availability on like Hulu and other platforms. So like basically the delayed viewing like helped boost the ratings. The article even said that like running on Tuesday nights in the 10 p.m. slots definitely a boost for live and same day numbers. So that's really cool. And they said that The Rookie Feds is ABC's highest rated series debut since November of 2020 with the premiere of Big Sky, and then the network's most viewed debut since Rebel in April 2020.
oh, that's so cool.
Which is really cool because some of the Rebel cast is in The Rookie Feds.
That's
So
so cool. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I'm geeking out over that. Oh my God.
So but like the
Cool.
article also said it still could change though, because like Fire Country premiered this past week and a lot
Oh
of
yeah, and
people
I was
were
hearing
watching it.
I was hearing
Yeah.
all about that on Twitter.
Which like I want to check it out because honestly, I can never have too many shows to watch. So yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I think with that we should just dive right on into the episode because yeah.
Yes. So we're starting off with the rookie first, obviously. It's titled Die Hard, DYE. So we're gonna start with John and Celina, which I like. Oh my God! I mean, I know everyone's excited about it, but just like
Yeah.
for like the Chicago PD fans out there is like extra
Oh my
excited just
God.
to see Lisette Chavez like wear a badge again or like just have a badge number,
Yeah. Not just that, like, but be
Oh,
in uniform because we never
yeah.
saw her in uniform on PD. Oh, it was
Mhm.
just so good. And that was what I needed after the last like 5 days of TV. So
Yeah, like it made up for so
yeah,
much that like crushed us in
yeah.
other TV landscapes.
Also, the rookie, treat her right, please.
Yes.
Do not do her dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, so it was her debut as Celina Juarez. She's a rookie officer and also John Nolan's first like trainee because it's John's first day as a TO. So that'll be uh interesting because like everyone's, like clapping in the roll call room and everything and like, okay, we're like celebrating this and and then Tim's like has Celina stand up and then she's like she's smart, she got high marks at the academy, she's like eager to learn. Then of course Tim being Tim was like, well, you need to like forget everything you learned at the academy, you'll learn like more when you're out and about with your training officer. And like you could totally see um like she had like a slight smile, like a very faint smile, and then it just faded as he was speaking. And I'm like, way to go, Tim. Like, way to boost the morale, dude.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Um,
At
but
that moment, I was like, I'm so glad that he's not her TO. But like
yeah,
also I wouldn't mind seeing them together. Not in the first episode, but
yeah.
working together.
But just yeah, and so because like obviously like Celina's a little nervous and like that didn't help. But we see her go over to John and like introduce herself like in a formal manor, and Lucy kind of just like pops over and is like, and me, like you can, like come, ask me for help. And Lucy introduces herself as well and offers to like, you know, like to talk if Celina like needs to talk to just, like another woman in this field. Because, it wasn't too long ago that Lucy was a rookie herself. So, um, and she like appreciates all of that. And we're just so here for like the Celina and Lucy BFF era. And I am still waiting on a selfie from Melissa and Lisette. Like, I will like lose my mind if I, because they have to have one. Like, this is like not a thing. Like, I know there just has to be one
Oh,
somewhere.
you know it. You know that there has to be one.
Well, because like I didn't get, like the Eric and Melissa selfie like in their costumes, like their undercover look. So like I need this. Like
And you know that
I'm
there has to be one of Melissa and Eric in their undercover wardrobe too.
I'm manifesting. Like I need something. Like I mean, we've gotten like good like behind the scenes like the like Instagram story wise, but
Mhm.
just like I'm talking like Instagram, just post the just drop the selfie, then
Yeah.
they can, dip out like after. Like I don't care. But
And they
like
don't even have to caption it. Just
yeah,
post the selfie.
yeah, no, just post it and that's it. Like I'll be fine. Um, but anyway, yeah, so that was like part of the sneak peek that we got to see, which was cool because I was just like all excited. Like I don't know, it's just cool to like, because we heard about Lisette joining the rookie, but it's just cool to like actually like see it, like see her on screen. So um it was funny because like they had so many like callbacks like to the pilot episode. Um but like so as Nolan's like going through his whole routine, right? Like they even use the same dialogue. Like he's on a roll, he's like running down this checklist, and then he just like kind of stops because he's like getting in the shop and he's what is that? And she's like, oh well, I saged the shop. And this like surprised Nolan, and she was like, well, I figured I would need all the luck I could get. And I'm like, oh, like so like she's just so pure, like this. Oh my god, just yeah, I loved that. And just like I don't know, just like the way like that like line was delivered was just so just like, well, I like like she wasn't sorry she did it, but she was just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So poor
Well,
John's just gonna kind of have to get over it.
and when he's like, is that weed or something or drugs? And she's like,
Yeah.
that was me, and not the marijuana. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I already love this partnership.
Yeah, like she's just so like she just doesn't really know. She's just kind of all over the place. Um, and so that was cool. It was like nice that John let her drive. Um, but just like I kind of knew like as soon as that happened though, because like not well, I'm thinking because I know he or wait, no, because Talia did let him drive. Never mind. Never
Oh
mind.
yeah.
I was gonna say but well, did he drive? No, Nyla drove.
No,
Nyla drove
but
mostly.
did John drive on like the first day? Because I don't think so. Because Gray was like, why was
No,
she driving? And John was like, because I was taught that way or something.
yeah,
But he was driving shortly after that, I think.
yeah. So
Well,
I don't know.
I was gonna say he was driving on plain clothes day, but obviously because Talia,
Yeah,
for all intents purposes, was not there.
yeah.
But
So I guess he was maybe referring to Talia then when he was like, I was taught that way. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, because
like the
when he
TOs
had
can let the rookie drive.
when he had
I
Talia,
don't
he was
know.
like first on the job.
Yeah.
So.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
he
So
did
maybe,
drive when she was TO. He
yeah.
drove some.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just interesting because it's like maybe that's what he's like trying to do, except it just he kind of went about it wrong, to make her like for like well, I don't know, I forget what the lingo is, like first on call or first
Yeah.
like first officer or something.
If it
Uh
was me, I wouldn't have wanted to drive on my very first day. I would have been like, no,
heck
I will
no.
gladly let you take that. Like,
Yeah. because there's so much to focus on, and it's
Yeah.
just like, I
And
don't
it's your
know.
first day. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
not even when you become a cop, but like when you start any new job, like your first day is so overwhelming. Like your first week to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be like, no, if I don't have to drive, I'm not gonna drive.
Yeah. And so like their first technically like illegal stop um was they just like Celina just like put on the like siren and like had this car pull over, and it was like an elderly woman driving, and like before John could barely say like two more words, Celina was like hopping out of the shop, and like obviously since she's on the driver's side, like she has easier access to the driver's side of this car that they pulled over. And so she's like the first one, up by the window, like just already talking to this woman. And like poor John's like trying to like scramble and is like, okay, like, ask her for her ID. Cause like they don't have probable cause to like stop this woman, um, like at all. Um, but Celina wanted to because she got a bad aura, or a dark aura rather, like off the car. Um, and like, I mean, I appreciated that John like tried to lay down the law with Celina, like, like that telling her like what she was doing was like technically profiling and like he won't have it. Um, but then she points out like the blood spots on the trunk. Um, and so like they open it up and like there is blood in the trunk. But like, so even though they did find this evidence, right, it's like they can't do anything with it because it was found during an illegal stop. Um, and obviously Celina's, aura reason is not going to cut it. Um, and to make matters worse, Tim's there, and then he, so he's called in, right? And then so Tim, being Tim, is like, all like, like tough sergeant routine on her, and is like, like you can have like any aura, like doesn't matter, like that's not a reason to, like do a stunt like this. And it just like gave me like major, like, because on PD, right, like Vanessa's first day like didn't go well, like at
No,
all.
she caught
Like,
a case without a call sign or whatever.
yeah. And like, so it just gave me like major, like going rogue on her first day vibes. And like her superior officer, like got mad at her too.
Well, I mean,
So,
her superior officer was a lot worse than Tim, but
oh,
yeah,
so true. Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like my like TV heart, like appreciated the parallel, but I did not like seeing poor Celina like get,
No,
like, I mean, not like they're like screaming at her or anything, but just,
no,
like stern and like,
yeah.
but still she just was like, oh, I just felt like
Her
bad.
face, like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah,
it was so
I just
bad.
wanted to hug her.
Yeah.
It reminded me of her PD days, or like Vanessa Rojas and PD, more so like her just kind of going rogue.
Yeah.
But that whole scene with Tim reminded me more of like 101 Tim. Like
Mm,
he
mm-hmm.
was like his
Yeah.
rough side there. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't miss this side of
That's,
Tim. But like
yeah.
also it's not bad because like that he's a softie down at in the heart, but like
Yeah.
not no. Like let's get soft Tim back in here because
Yeah.
this is not what I want.
Yeah, because it just kind of sucks that like that's his first like
Real like
almost like
interaction with her.
default like setting is to be like this, like have this like gruff
Yeah.
like persona on. And it's like, no, Tim, we know you're, better than that.
Which I mean, like she did mess up. Like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna deny that. And like, yes, he did have to lay down the law with her, but like John had already done that.
Yeah,
And
like he was handling it,
yeah,
oh, like okay.
yeah. And I get that like Tim had to do that, like duh, he's sergeant and all of that.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I don't like
Yeah.
this. for her.
Well, because then Gray, like, not even like, cut to the next scene or whatever. And then like Gray's yelling at Nolan. So it's like
Yeah.
everyone's like yelling at everyone else. And it's like, it, I mean, while I understand it, it didn't really like progress things like forward
Yeah.
that much. I mean, well, unless you count like Nolan telling Gray that he's gonna like write up a blue page, which, ugh, like I was sad about that. I was like, no, like that just sucks.
Gray
Because
like hazing Nolan in this was one of my favorite parts.
oh my god, yeah, because like at the very beginning, I guess I probably could have mentioned that because like Nolan was like, like he like wrote down like how to like set up a shop and like the like for a cheat sheet, and Gray's like, what the hell do you have this for? Like no, like he knows what he's doing, but then he's like, I'm afraid I'm gonna mess up. And he's like, oh, but you will, like
Yeah.
that's and so like Gray just 100% is just keeping it real, and like he's just like here's what's gonna happen, but like you're like today's the day. It's gonna like what's gonna happen is gonna happen. Like whether you're like ready or not, you're getting a
Yeah.
rookie. So, um, yeah, but I was just like, oh, like that sucked because like, well, no, because Angela didn't write up a blue page on Jackson. She like lied for him
Yeah, that's
on
right.
that first report.
Yeah, and what he did was, I don't know if it's a lot worse, but like he couldn't fire his gun, like he froze. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
know. I would argue that Celina's was probably worse. Like she did pull over someone illegally, so.
Yeah,
And I was
but
also
still,
just
it's
about to
like
call her Vanessa. So we're doing great here.
this is what happens when you take a like fan favorite character from another show and just like plop them in the rookie universe. We get all confused. It's fine. But anyway, so like after everyone's done yelling at each other, like um, you know, it, it everything well, no, I take that back because while Nyla didn't yell at John and Celina, she was like, do you know how dead you are to me? And she just cut like the door, the automatic doors open, and it's just Makia delivering this line
Huh.
flawlessly. And I just, oh my God, I laughed so much. And it just made me miss like Nyla and John,
Yeah.
like their dynamic. And, because she was the one that was like, well, I taught you better than that. Um, because Nyla and Angela like had caught a like missing persons case like towards the beginning of the episode, and like their missing woman named Jill, her blood was the blood that was like swiped from the elderly woman's car, who, as it turns out, her like grandson must use it because he's a suspect now in Jill's disappearance. So because the guy's name was Tyler Harvin. He was Jill's ex-boyfriend. So, um, and then like Wesley joins the party and he's like, well, you can't use like they can't use the evidence, just like reiterating what, that everyone else has already said. Like, they can't use the evidence, so they have to, find some other way. Um, and so then that's where we get the scene of John and Celina, and then like Nyla and Angela are all doing surveillance on Harbin in plain clothes. And this also kind of reminded me of PD because like they like had like a like running scene or like
Yeah.
chase scene, but they failed to catch their suspect. So
Yeah, kind of reminded me of the first episode that we saw Lesethan on PD because
yeah,
was it like she didn't hit the guy that she was trying to catch, but like he got hit by a truck or something, right?
I think so.
And she was like, I mean, John literally pulled her back from like
Yeah.
getting hit by a garbage truck. I was like,
Yeah,
this is freaky.
yeah, yeah. So just like yeah, so that, obviously his day is like it just keeps going like downhill.
Poor John
Um,
Nolan.
yeah, yeah. And later John's telling Celina about like, the blue page and like writing the report and everything and like what, like what's gonna happen next essentially. And she's like, well, okay, like, are they gonna wash me out because of this? And he's like, well, it's a possibility, but her failure is more so on him. And like Celina's still concerned like about the case, and she's like, well, I think, Jill is still alive. And she's so confident in that. And then but then John's kind of like trying to give her like a reality check, I guess, in a way, because he's like policing is all about, like hard won knowledge and not like, auras and, like feelings and, just like instant reactions. Um, but she like pushes back, which I liked because it's like it just shows that like I don't know, it just shows a different perspective and obviously like goes along with their storyline well of like her like, they don't exactly jive yet, like Celina and John like working together. Because she's like, okay, well, you're like being a traditionalist, but you're leaving out like the dark side of all the tradition. But John says that she first has to learn the fundamentals and they have to know where to draw the line between a dark aura and outright prejudice. Um, so they kind of ended that day, like that whole entire day, like ended on a bad note. Like that sucked. Um, but the next time we see them, Celina's apologizing for like the day before. Um, and John's like accepts her apology and is like, if you have ideas, like tell me. And she's like, well, I had this dream, and he like almost wants to backtrack, and he's like, nope, I said tell me, so tell me. Um, and so she tells him about this dream that she had last night after doing a deep dive on Tyler. And she had a dream about like a night washed up on a beach and thought maybe like Jill's being kept on a beach or like near a beach. And she was looking through Tyler's work history and like maybe his jobs in like construction or landscaping would give him a place to like hide out or like to hide Jill. Um, and then so they're like kind of looking through the history. And the like company he worked for was like a Royal Hand Construction, and then like the streets like Beachville Canyon. So it's like technically Celina was right again. So like score two for Celina, sort of, and zero for John.
I'm kind of surprised that she could do all of that like in her first day, basically. Like I also didn't think that they could do that at home. Like that they could like tap into the like police records and stuff at home on their personal computers. I feel like that's like a huge, not like I guess violation, but just like a big no-no.
I mean, they got LinkedIn. Maybe
True.
she just did that. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
true.
because
That
like
is
social
true.
media is like, well, unless you have like private profiles, usually things like that are public
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
knowledge.
that's true. Yeah, it's
But
not
then
like
like
she,
the like how she got like work, like it sounded like she got like a work order, like where he did the thing.
yeah,
And then so like the maps or like location exactly, I don't really know
I don't know, but she's
how she pulled
scrappy.
that off.
So,
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So they end up going to like the well, what kind of looked like an abandoned property. And they find, well, I thought it was odd that John was like, who we think is Jill. Like, so it's not like officially confirmed that it's Jill, but who appears to be Jill, like alive, but obviously hurt. Um, and it gave me just like major like 210 vibes when John and Nyla were going to search the abandoned LA Zoo, I want to say was what that was. And like, finding the girl like alive, but hurt. Like just all the like all the random things, like callbacks and
Yeah.
probably unintentional that was, but it just get I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just weird. Um and so like Celina's staying with Joe for a second. And John's like calling it in and like searching the rest of the property. Celina actually spots Tyler and like takes off after him without no one for backup. So she's like going out there alone. Um, and I just thought it was like not funny, but just like why John was like calling for her when he was like 2 steps away from the room that she was originally in. I don't understand. 'Cause it's like, dude, just like finish walking and then you'll see that she's not there. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It was just weird because I was
Well,
like, obviously, you know, she's gone if she's not answering you.
yeah, and then like he kept calling her, and I was like, "Oh, let me like if I was her, let me just like stop in the middle of the forest and answer your radio call and lose the suspects." Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I was just like, "Okay, I get it. You need to keep calling for her, but also she's not going to answer when she's in the middle of running." So,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yes, obviously she's in pursuit. She and Tyler get into like a major fight. She like holds her own and you know, like tries to keep fighting, like gotta give her props for that. It was looking grim at the end though, because like hands were around her throat, like she was, you know, like it was not looking good. But you know, John to the rescue, yay, whatever. Like, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to leave. That sounded bad. I mean, it was good. Like, I'm glad, obviously, that he was there, but it's just like,
yeah.
I kind of just, I wanted Celina to just, like, you know, like, just, like, have that win, I
Yeah.
guess.
But also like major props to Liseth because oh my god, that
Oh,
looked intense.
yeah.
Granted,
Yeah.
I'm sure that like she had a stunt double doing some of it, but yeah,
Yeah,
it was
probably.
intense. And on her like second day, oh Celina. But I mean like John also had a rough first day as a TO, so
Mhm. Yeah. Um, so John managed to like tackle the guy and arrest him, which was good. Um, and Celina's okay. Like she's a little beaten up, obviously, but she's okay. Um, and like towards the end of the episode for them anyway, she, you know, tells John, well, John had like, I guess, pulled her like full file and like read up about her sister, but you know, Celina just like acknowledges that her sister went missing and like she was supposed to be watching her. um and she still like kind of carries that with her and it like informs her future. And like now that John's like aware of that, he kind of like is rethinking how Celina does things, um which I thought was like a good, like, you know, because it ended on a better note than like how they started.
yeah.
um Whereas like Nolan and Gray kind of ended on like the same note that they started on, which was like funny, but also like not helpful really, because like
Yeah.
literally Gray's metaphor, like before he went and talked, before John like actually like went and talked to Celina, he was just like like, you know, having this metaphor about like, you know, horses, but he literally is like, I'm sure it wasn't meant to be funny, but he just like basically called Nolan like the old horse. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, we get it. He's the, you know, like the old, you know, the oldest rookie that did it. But it was just, I was just like, I cracked up at that because I was just like, you seriously just like implied that he's like the old horse and Selena's like
Yeah.
the new one that has to be, you know, like trained. And I'm just, I don't know, it was just, it was kind of just like awkwardly funny.
Yeah.
But
Do you know of another PD parallel that I thought of to the rookie?
what?
I really don't want to be this person that compares all the time, but like, listen, I saw some parallels. When John and her were talking about like her possibly washing out, you know how like in Vanessa's first episode, like we learned more about her history, like her backstory with the foster homes and like all of that. Or was that not the third episode? That might have been
No, it's
like,
three.
yeah. And like Haley was standing there and was like, do you need a place to stay? Like the way that Lisette had her head turned, like I don't know, it was just both of like those moments where she was like talking to her kind of TO. I guess you could kind of call Haley that, like she was her mentor mainly. But like the way that she was like sitting there listening to them, like interacting with them, it was so like just the parallels. I was like, wow. Like, I mean, kudos to Lisette, but yeah, it was just
Yeah. Well, and she had the same hairstyle.
yeah,
Like,
obviously.
so
But yeah, no, the way that she was just kind of like, so I'm done, pretty much. Like, there I'm getting washed out. Like even the storylines were kind of similar as far as like she's messed up, she's gone. She's gone from the program. But yeah, I don't know. It was good.
mhm.
So then next we have Tim and Aaron. And so Aaron is writing as Tim's aide and he's graduated to a P2. But when Lucy's back, he's ready to step aside and give Lucy the position back. Which, like, Aaron, are you a Chenford shipper? Like, secretly? Because welcome to the dark side. Welcome. We've been waiting for you. And Aaron catches the last part of Lucy's sentence when she's like, Tim has said that you're doing a great job. And Aaron's surprised. He's like, wait, really? He said that? And Lucy's like, oh no, I added that part. But like, you must be doing a great job because Tim hasn't replaced you. And so Lucy's like, no, you should stick to writing with him. Like, I could use some quiet time and think about my future. And I mean, at this point, Lucy was just kind of like something was off about her. And then, like, her and Tim had like an angsty stare across the room. And you had mentioned Story of Us on Twitter. And now I cannot stop thinking about that. And someone made a full edit to that song.
Yeah,
Like,
there have been a couple
yeah.
that have like come out. So,
And I just can't stop thinking about it. So thank you. That is
yeah.
cannot, however you say it, definitely a Chenford song now. Like before I was trying to make it a Chenford song, but it couldn't.
Yeah.
And now it definitely is. So
Yeah, we should definitely I should see if I should go back to our Taylor Swift thread and add that one.
please. Oh my God, we have to. We have to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we should just probably update that or see if we should update it more because I feel like it's possible that we probably could. Yeah, so then we get Bradson driving together and Aaron's on his phone and just kind of out of it. Tim's obviously not so happy. And he basically says like there's no personal life talk like in the shop. So Aaron's like, "Oh, I understand, but this is something that's really personal and could affect my career." And basically he's getting blackmailed. And Aaron's like, I sent a shirtless photo, nothing like X-rated to a girl on a dating app. And it turns out that he was catfished by some guy and like the kid like blackmail or photoshopped a picture of him and we don't actually see the photo but Tim's reaction was pretty great. So after responding to John and Celina's traffic stop, Aaron's catfish messages back and says that he wants PS5 dropped off or he's going to release the picture. So the drop is at the kid's apartment, and Tim's like, well, he's dumb but we're gonna pick up a PS5 on the way. And Aaron's like, I thought that we weren't supposed to negotiate with a terrorist. And Tim's like, he's not a terrorist, he's a kid. Well, they don't know that at this point, and Tim's like, he's an idiot. But if we arrest him, that photo will be evidence and everyone at the station will see it. Oh, Timothy, what you did not know would happen in the future. Oh, Timothy. So then
Funny.
Aaron like flexes that he has a gaming connect in K-Town, and Tim's like, I'm not even surprised by that. So they go to the catfisher's apartment, and instead of leaving like the guy like requests after they drop the PS5 off, they stay and he opens the door. And at first, like they don't state who they are, but Aaron's like, screw it, you're blackmailing me. And Tim's like, I could charge you with a felony. And the catfisher, who's like a teenager, said that he wasn't really going to release the photo. He just wanted the PS5 and his mom like wouldn't get him one. And so then Aaron's like, oh, well, we should get her out here. Like she deserves to know what's going on. Aaron has quickly become one of my favorite people. I mean, he was one of my favorite people before, but like his lines, I'm just so glad that they made him a regular. I'm so glad. So then, Bradson's like, oh, well, we should get the mom out or you delete the photo. And that's exactly what he does. And Aaron's like, and delete the dating app too, because you shouldn't be catfishing anyone. So the kid like goes to pick up the PS5 and Tim's like, no, bad behavior does not get an award. And if you do anything like that again, like I'll make sure that your phone and laptop are collected as evidence. And I don't know, when Tim was like, bad behavior does not deserve a reward or whatever, I felt like he was like, I don't know, talking to a little kid like that had done something really bad.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, well, you suck. And he leaves. So then Aaron's like, are we taking it back? And Tim's like, no, I'm taking it home. These things are hard to find. And I just need like a Aaron and Tim game night. Like, please, right now. The girls can like have a girls' night. And Tim, Wesley, and Aaron and James can all do, I don't know, video games or something. So
John's not invited.
oh,
Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I mean, he could be. I don't know. He would, you know what? He would probably be the one that like beats all of them at some video game.
Honestly, yeah, because they probably would be like, "Oh, there's no way." I'm sure he
Yeah.
wouldn't even know like what
Yeah.
the hell a PS5 is.
And then he just like crushes
But,
them all. Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, you could see it.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that, honestly. That is totally my bad. I did not mean to leave him out like that.
No, I just thought it was funny because, like, I mean, it would just be funny, like,
yeah.
if that did, like, if the like just happened to leave like somebody out.
Then how can we leave out Gray?
That's true. Gray
Okay.
can come. He wouldn't want to come though. He'd be like,
No.
I would rather do anything else.
He would think that it was so stupid.
Yeah.
That or we get Gray and Nolan like hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't even know if either of them would be like down for that though. Because
No.
like
No,
I
not
feel
after the days that they had.
yeah, like well, but maybe see, because they were coming around like to a good place, and then just like shit hit the fan in this episode,
Yeah.
so they kind of left off on like a slightly awkward note. But
Which I'm sure that they'll be fine. But
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. Gray likes to haze John Nolan. And honestly, like, I don't know, I kind of like it. So in a lovingly way. I like John Nolan. So yeah, so then like they're driving more and Tim's like, how long has it been since we've heard Chen on the radio? And Tim calls dispatch for a security check on her. And it's been 2 hours since dispatch has heard from her. And Tim's like, yeah, we're going to talk about that later, but give me the address, like her last zone, which Protective Bradford mode activates. I apparently cannot talk. All right. So they get to her location. Tim calls her name and like she hears his voice. And so apparently it's not as like heavy duty or like sturdy or whatever as like the barrel. But as soon as she gets out, she tells them about a possible lead on Rosalind. And she thinks that one of them in the message board is Rosalind, which, okay, as I was rewatching it for a minute, I was like, that guy knew that she was in there, of course. But like, did he see her enter? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was odd how it was like he went by and like specifically shut that door and made sure that it was shut. I was like, that's kind of weird, but I don't think it leads to anything. So then, everyone's gathering around the bullpen, like when they get back, laughing, and Smithy's at the front and center. Like, because why wouldn't he? And he's holding up an Officer Cupcake poster. I keep wanting to say cupcake, and I'm like, it's definitely not cupcake, it's cupcake.
Nope.
And it's a poster with a shirtless and muscular Tim on it. And Aaron's like, yeah, we need to go visit our catfish again, because clearly he's still up to something.
Yep.
And I don't know, I just loved that like Smithy was holding it. Like Smitty has been busy in the Rookie universe. Like he was in last week's episode of Feds. obviously in the Rookie. The first episode of Feds, I was like,
Yep.
the dude is busy. He's booked and busy.
Yep.
So then Branson's like talking to the catfisher at the end of the episode, and Tim's like, I filled out all this paperwork and I can charge you with a felony and I'll file it that day unless you start using your skills to help people. And he mentions that their friend at the community center needs someone to help teach a computer literacy class at the community for the community. And so they're like, if you keep your nose clean and show up twice a week, I'll forget about the paperwork. Otherwise, Tim has 18 months to file it. And so Tim says that Aaron was the one who urged him to give the kid a second chance. So ultimately, the catfisher takes the deal. And yeah, that's that on that storyline. But I liked Tim and Aaron working together.
Yeah, I did too. I just want to know how the catfisher got like a picture, well, at least a picture of Tim's face, because it looked like his face was just like attached
Yeah,
to the body.
yeah, his face
But
was
then
definitely
like
photoshopped.
I just don't understand. Like it just came out of nowhere. Like I just
Yeah.
wasn't expecting it. Like the cop cake. That is hard to say.
I mean, yeah, it's like a tongue twister. I mean, I don't think it would be not possible, but I don't think it would be like canon or anything that like Aaron would have a picture of like all of his cop friends on his dating app profile. And also like I feel like if you had that, no, like that would be, I mean, I would be swiping left. I love Aaron Thorson, but like no, at least not in all their uniforms.
Yeah. Like it just doesn't like I don't know. I mean, it was hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but I just like
It was
I
kind
have
of
more
odd.
questions.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of odd. So
And then just like why a cupcake?
I know.
Like, is that just like, the theme? Like,
Well, I think because it's easy to rhyme with cop, but I don't know. I feel like
I
there's
guess.
other things. But like, was it M that tweeted like, "Does it ever drive you crazy how fast the night changes?" And it was like the TikTok of Eric with the cupcake dusted, and
Yep.
yeah, it was like, wow, that came full circle.
And that, and there's Cupcake the alligator.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, because like last week, I think it was like the Rookie and the Rookie Feds like both had like burritos
Yeah.
mentioned. And so just like these random like themes just keep like popping up. It's just bizarre.
So who's gonna have a cupcake this week in Rookie Feds? Is it Brendan after he possibly gets beaten up?
Oh, I don't want to think about that.
I can't believe that I just said that. I don't
want to
like
think
it
about
here.
that.
No. I mean, he'll be fine, but like
He deserved a cupcake after like 10. What are we talking about? 102.
yeah.
Yeah, he deserved a cupcake after that episode.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway,
So that's the end of Aaron and Tim, and then we have Lucy. So she comes home from UC school, and Tamara and Chris are throwing her a party, but Tamara has to leave, otherwise she'll be late for school, and she like leaves her like mustache on, and Lucy's like trying to stop her, and she's like, oh well. So Chris is happy that she's home, he's fine, and he's like typing still a little hard, but it'll be fine. And so then he says that he actually found an online group that's hunting Rosalind called the Diehards. Yeah, because that can't go wrong in a million ways. Yeah. So then he was skeptical of it first, and they showed him like their research, and he was like, it is pretty impressive. So he says that they scour message boards, social posts for tips, and then they like put all of them into an encrypted PDF called the Mother Doc. And Chris wants Lucy to look into it, and Lucy's like, I don't know, like I'm a patrol cop. And also this isn't healthy to like be fixating on this.
yeah, well, that was my first thought too. I was like, why is he asking her? Like,
yeah. It was this point where I was like, Chris, like you do realize that you're asking her to like dive more into Rosalind. Like, do you not realize the trauma that she has?
Yeah, it was like sharing.
Yeah.
It was like sharing trauma. I mean, if it's like helpful, sure, but I just don't think it was like helpful for either
No.
of them to be doing that.
Well, and I also didn't like how he didn't corner her, obviously, but like just the way that he asked her, it was like she literally took 2 steps in the door and had 5 minutes of being home from UC school. And he's like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" I was like, "What? No, you've waited a month. You can wait another like few hours or a day or whatever." Yeah, it was at that point where I was like, "Okay, Chris, like you're being a little suspicious right now." Um, so then Lucy like calls Wesley. Well, and even that like kind of throws her off because like that's when, she gets a congratulatory like clap or whatever at work, and you can kind of tell that she's like not herself. I mean,
Yeah.
even like when she got home, she seemed kind of odd, which a lot of people picked up on. So
Yeah.
so then like Lucy's driving, she calls Wesley and they have a fun little conversation. I honestly just love how everyone is like BFFs in the show. Like
Hmm.
Tim's like, we have a friend that runs the community center. Lucy and Wesley are like friends. I just love it. Um, but then like he asks how UC school was, and she's like, how is it working for the enemy? And she asks about how Chris is doing. And so like then she brings up the online community. And Wesley's like, yeah, I'll keep an eye on him. So but then he also tells her to give him time to process it because they've both been where he is. And he'll get through it. So Lucy like gets off the phone and everything's like fine-ish. We know that Wesley's gonna talk to Chris. So then Lucy's driving when she sees a man go into a building by himself and like kind of enter in through a side-ish door. So she calls over the radio and she's gonna go check it out for squatters. And Lucy doesn't see any, but then like she enters another part of the building and kind of sees like some wallets or something, and then that's when the man like closes the door. Um, so then Lucy tries to get a hold of dispatch, but nothing's going through because radios are down, or her radio is down at least. And so she's talking herself down from like freaking out. She's like, there's nothing that I can do. They're gonna do a check on me, and but in the meantime, I'll read the mother doc that Chris gave her. So then we like kind of go over to the DA's office and we see that Wesley stops by Chris's office and just to like see how he's doing. And Chris automatically puts the pieces together and is like, you talk to Lucy. And Wesley relates to Chris and what, Chris is wanting, but like he also brings up the stabbing. There were seriously a lot of callbacks in this episode.
Hmm.
And Wesley just reminds Chris that like he has a community of people who understand what he's been through, which is like him and Lucy. So then we go back to Lucy. She's reading and looking at the smiley face on the door, kind of processing everything. And, she's kind of using the smiley face on the door to kind of like work through things and like kind of, I don't know, just talk them out. So when she comes across something from user Truth Hunter 184 that says, "Don't give Rosalind the satisfaction. She eats her victim's pain like a 5-star meal. You'd be playing right into her hands." Lucy's kind of like racking her brain. She's like, "I've heard that before. Where have I heard that from?" And she remembers that Rosalind had said that to Nolan. So then we go later in the episode, Chris and Lucy go over to the FBI building and meet with Garza and Laura. And they ask Chris like about, the user, and he shares what he knows about him, which isn't much, but like he knows that he lives in Atlanta. And so then they share what's actually going on, that they like tracked Rosalind's IP address, or the IP address for the user, and it actually goes to Seattle, which is kind of where Rosalind is too. So Lucy shares what she saw the user write and how Rosalind said the same thing to Nolan. And Chris like freaks out. He's like, "Oh, I told her things about myself and the investigation." And he asks immediately like what the next steps are. So the FBI is going to get involved. They'll keep Lucy and Chris in the loop. And then at the end of the episode, we saw that Lucy gets an invite to go to Seattle with Garza and Laura. and she's all indigo. So we see Lucy like get out of a car with Laura, and the rest of the team. And the agent with the Seattle bureau briefs them on what they know about the house. And he says that the owners haven't been seen in a week, but their car is still there. And like when they call the house phone, they can hear it ringing inside, but no one ever answers. So they bust into the home and find two dead bodies with writing on the wall in blood saying better luck next time. And it pans on Lucy, which like people were pointing out that the TIM in time was bolded, like darker. And it was like gonna be a call out to Tim. And I was like, I don't
Really?
know. I
I
could
must have
see
missed
it.
that.
I could see it, but like I don't know. I mean,
It's not like there's an like writing in blood is like an art for like I don't really think
no.
she's gonna be that meticulous in like that way.
But I also wouldn't put it past her. So
I suppose. I don't know. Like, ugh. It was just I hate like things like that. So I wasn't really looking all that
yeah,
closely at it. I was just like, okay, there's blood on the wall. That's okay.
yeah.
Mm-mm. But I was so here for Lucy and Laura scenes. Oh my God. I was just
Yes.
like, oh my God, this episode gave me everything I could
Well,
have ever wanted.
and like Lucy getting out of the car in like all black gear with like the FBI vest and the little earpiece. I was like, this is a look. If she doesn't go undercover, if she doesn't want to do that anymore, she could go over to the FBI. I would be totally fine with that.
Well, but then she and Tim would be split up.
I know.
That
But
big.
like maybe that would give us, well, I was gonna say maybe that would give us like more scenes of them at home, but not really if they're like on separate shows. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
God.
Who knows what the rookie universe is gonna do? Because we've had like a little like crossovers every episode, it seems
Yeah.
like. So who knows? But
Yep.
yeah. So that's it for the episode. We do have some listener thoughts. Do you want to take us through the first one?
Yeah, so Ricardo said, I don't mind that there wasn't much Chenford content. I have to recover from the last few episodes. Tim and Lucy need some time apart to find out what they want to do with the feelings they have for each other. Their exchanged looks in the precinct say everything, their end game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kim had said, love the show. It's the actors, writers, and showrunners on and on that make it so great. As a fan, I think I'm missing the original chemistry from the first few seasons. Maybe it's just that there are so many great characters, you can't get enough of them in one episode. I did see some people saying like there was, like a lack of balance, or it seemed like it was heavy on the Nolan stuff tonight, which I get, but I think we were also just spoiled by the first two episodes being like so heavily on the ensemble cast that it was like, oh, like we're gonna keep getting this. And then episode 3, they were like, wait, this is like the main character is John Nolan. And I think him being a TO now, like we will be seeing more of that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't really mind it. Like, just
Yeah.
because, I mean, maybe it's just because I like Lisette so much. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But just like, I don't know, it's just like, you get to see John in like a new role. And so it's like kind of refreshing. Like, it's not the same old thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was gonna say, like, we hadn't seen Bailey like last episode, so it's just like, they're like, so it wasn't the same old for John Nolan. But
And I do like how they're like balancing it, kind of switching it up. Like it's so much better. Yeah. So yeah.
Paige had said, my Chenford heart loves the angst. I'm worried about them because I feel like Rosalind is totally going to try something on Tim. She loves Celina and she thinks she's going to give Nolan quite the run for his TO money. And Paige loved the Wesley and Lucy chat, and something is definitely up with Chris. Oh, okay. So lots of like suspicion.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
People are still thinking that Chris is like either working with Rosalind or just like the bad guy.
I don't see it.
I
I
don't see
can't.
it. I just think that he's possibly that clueless to like tell a stranger on the internet things about himself and like not really think about the trauma that Lucy has went through and is thinking more like, hey, can you look into this so that I can like help solve it or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's bad. I just think he's like that clueless.
Yeah.
Also, like the kiss on her hand, I was like, dude, she was away for a month. Like, do something else. I don't
I
know.
don't, have we ever seen them? Oh God, wait. Didn't we already talk about this on a different podcast episode? Have we ever seen like Chris and Lucy kiss and then like Tim and Ashley?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Wow.
Honestly, I am
Wow.
okay with it though.
I
Because
mean, yeah, like
after seeing the Chenford kiss, I'm like, no,
but
I don't want to see anything else
that's
happen
just
unless
funny.
it's that. Yeah.
That's just kind of funny.
Well, like we
Um,
were supposed to have that bed scene with them, but like we didn't.
that didn't happen, yeah.
Which like
Um,
call back to last season when they cut out the whole like JC Penney's catalog scene
rude.
and
Yeah.
then like gave us all those promo photos for it. Like at least we only got one promo photo for this one.
I know, but I was so wanting to know why Chris just looked like they both just looked
I
so just
know.
like the emoji with like the straight line across the mouth. Like
Yeah.
that was like the both of them. Like literally there was no like happy emotion in that photo.
I'm kind of holding out hope that it happens next episode and they just like mislabeled it, but I don't think it will. I don't think
Yeah, I
so.
don't know. I mean, just like, I don't know. I mean, I can like understand like why Chris is having a hard time and like why he wanted, like to reach out to people just because because like Lucy wasn't there. And so,
Yeah.
like, but I'm not saying it, definitely not saying it that's, on Lucy or anything because like I still feel like there are like better ways to deal with trauma.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, I'm like wondering if like he doesn't really want to deal with the trauma yet, and so he's like not ready to. So maybe he's like kind of like pushing that aside and then making it about like solving something
Yeah.
so he can like get an answer because like you can't really, I mean, you can have like, maybe some type of closure or like acceptance or like make peace with things that have happened, but like you can't like like there's no like well, not always, but sometimes there's not a definitive answer,
Yeah.
for things like that, like why traumatic things happen. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm kind of worried about Chris. I
Yeah.
hope he's like not gonna like like I don't know. Just yeah, I hope he's gonna be okay.
I
Like
don't want him to like spiral, but I'm also like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, not to like diminish his trauma or anything, but I'm also like, I don't know, like he's not as close to Rosalind as like Lucy was. And I don't think he like fully understands like just how much she went through.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I don't really know if they like I don't really think they would need a scene, of like
Yeah.
Lucy and Chris like trying to work through their trauma
Right.
together. Like
No.
that would be
Yeah.
no. But
That's too much.
it's just
Yeah.
kind of like not odd, but just it like well maybe odd is the word that like both of them have been affected by the same person in
Yeah.
such a traumatic way. Like
Yeah. Well, and like he's watched like the barrel video and stuff, but like he doesn't know all of what happened before. I mean, granted, like she had a lot more interaction with Caleb, but still.
yeah.
And I mean, we don't even know what all truly happened between him and Rosalind. Like we just saw him with his
Yeah.
wrist slash. So, I mean, she could have like tortured him for all we know, but like I don't know. I just feel like he's spiraling out, which like he should. I mean, he's been through a traumatic thing, but I'm also like, dude, like realize who you're talking to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I like I said, I think he's that like dumb enough to literally ask her the minute that she walked in the door, like, hey, can you look into this? And I'm like, dude, what? She's been through a lot and like she's got a lot that she still has to work through. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I guess maybe he was just probably, well, maybe he couldn't call her like about it for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Well, and like he had told Wesley, like that's why he didn't want to tell her when she was in UC school because he knew
Yeah,
that like she would spiral over it. But
yeah.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I guess that was like, I mean, that was considerate of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just, if I think too much about it, I just like, I am worried for the both of them and the state of their relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
So,
So Gail said she loved Nyla being back at it and teaming up with Angela. Same. Nyla and Angela BFF era is upon us. Big time.
yeah.
And we found out Nyla's new baby's name.
Yeah, Leah.
Mm-hmm. Leah and
Yes.
Lila. That's cute.
Oh, that is cute. I didn't even think, oh, yeah. I wonder if like, well, did you watch it with closed captions? So like, do you know if like Leah's with a like H at the end or just with an A?
I watched it with closed captions on my second rewatch, but I had the screen smaller, so
Okay.
it doesn't really show.
Well,
No.
because like I had like tweeted and I put like the H in parentheses because I'm like, gosh darn it, I don't know if it's like, with
That's better than me. I was just like
oh my God.
typing out like it normally is. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but just I want to know.
Yeah. No, I'll have to watch it again and let you know. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just like to know these things because like, there are so many like names that like
yeah.
on these shows, like you watch it and it's like hard to keep up sometimes when you're live tweeting and then you like just go back and I don't know. Just maybe
I
that's just a
mean
me thing
I
because
mean
I
I
just
still
don't.
spell Lila wrong, I think. But that's only because I know someone who has a daughter named Lila too, and she spells it a different way.
Mhm.
So I just spell it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've seen it on another show where it's Ly,
yeah.
but then I see other people in the fandom say like
Oh, I.
Lila.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I just think like Nyla is spelled like
Hmm.
NY. So then I'm thinking LY
Yeah.
for Lila. Okay, thinking too much again. Goodness gracious. Okay. Valerie had said, I thought Celina was a bit much and a little over the top. It made for an off balance dynamic. It may take me several episodes to get used to her. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
I think didn't they say like Liseth will guest star in several episodes? So
Yeah.
maybe maybe she'll grow on you, Valerie.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely different.
Yeah. I do like how they've stuck to the theme of like each rookie has something of their own that they like live on.
Yeah.
Like Selena's is like her instinct and intuition. Aaron's is like his desire to give people like second chances or whatever. Like they all have their own different um ways of like going about being a cop, and I like how the rookie has really leaned into that. So
Yeah.
yeah. Bonnie had said too much Nolan for my liking. It felt really unbalanced compared to the last week and the premiere. She said, I'm also still bothered but that no one has really talked to Lucy to ask how she's doing with the Tim stuff, the Rosalind stuff, and Chris. I mean, I know Aaron was preoccupied, but he still could have taken a couple minutes to talk to Lucy. Tim was the only one that noticed she hadn't checked in. That doesn't sit right. Great Chenford moment, though. Officer Copcake was hilarious, as was Smitty putting the posters up in the station. And she felt bad for Chris, but he had no clue about the chat room. Um, but this is why you're careful on the internet. And she also said, I loved that Lucy got to go to Seattle with Garza on the FBI team. She deserves to be recognized, and that's one way to do it. She and Laura would make a great pair. She and Laura would make a great pair. And like we need to see more of them.
I adore them. I have no more manifestations because I can't think of anything else. I've already gotten my two favorite. Well, okay, like Brenson's not even like a legit thing. Although the rookie feds did post that one
I
like
think the rookie feds
scene
is
or whatever.
shippers of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it just, oh my God, I just can't. Like, There's got so much, like, so yeah, I totally want more, like, I almost said Melissa and Laura. That's wrong.
Like I
Lucy,
also want more scenes and content with them. So yeah.
yeah, um, yeah, definitely.
But like regarding like no one talking to Lucy about like the Tim stuff, Rosalind, I don't know. I feel like no one else besides Angela really like knows about the Tim stuff.
Right. And
I mean, I'm
like,
sure that everyone knows that they went undercover, but like not the
yeah,
kiss and all that.
no, I
I
don't
mean,
think, I mean, aside from like, well, no, because Tamara wouldn't know about the undercover, like, well, the airplane, let me specify the airplane
yeah.
undercover kiss.
Yeah, but wouldn't
Um,
you think that Lucy would tell her? I guess not.
yeah,
Not if she went off to UC school and
maybe.
just didn't
I don't
even
know.
think about it.
I don't know.
I don't know. I would think if anyone would talk to her, it would be Tamara. But like
Yeah,
we haven't seen Tamara enough to know.
yeah,
So I don't know. And like the Rosalind stuff, yeah, I mean anyone at that point could talk to her.
yeah.
And same with Chris, but like all the Chris stuff. But yeah, Tim's stuff, I think only Angela knows. And it wouldn't be out of character, like weird for Angela to ask her, but we don't
Yeah,
see them talk a whole lot anyway, to where, like, if we did get that, I would feel like it was kind of forced in a way. I don't know.
yeah. Well, and it's like, I mean, I did feel bad for her, like when Aaron was like, you know, so preoccupied with his phone, but then he did it to Tim too. So it's like, but still, I mean, like, listen to Lucy Chen. Like, she
Yeah,
has, good things to say.
yeah,
So, like, I get it.
yeah.
Like, oops, I went too far. Sorry. Okay. Blessed Turtle said, Celina has had only one episode, and I love, love, love her already. Her standoff with Nolan about the fundamentals of policing was just chef's kiss. Now I see what the synopsis meant by unique challenge because wow. Yeah, definitely. Um, Harper and Lopez definitely needed more screen time, but I'm still happy since we now know what Nyla's new baby's name is. Yeah, that was so cute. I just let like mom moments for
Uh-huh.
them.
I love how
Like,
Angela was
so
like,
good.
I want to see a picture. And also, are you ready to start fighting crime again? Like, I don't know. I just loved them.
Yeah. Lucy's absence definitely had a negative effect on Chris's sanity, but at least it got them a lead on Rosalind, fruitless as it was. Chris's obsession with finding Rosalind may cause a rift between him and Lucy, but I'm personally hoping I'm personally hoping for it to find out what Trenford would have done if he wasn't there.
I think she meant, or I think they meant for us to find out what
Oh,
Chetford
okay,
would have done. Yeah.
gotcha. I really need to like read these before we start recording. It's fine. Um, oh, they also said, I'm very glad we didn't really get much Chenford angst this episode outside of some not so subtle looks in the bullpen. Seeing Tim worried once he realized she hadn't checked in for a while was pretty nice. And about the ending, it was a very nice setup of what's to come with Rosalind. Got some strong Red John vibes from that bloody message she left behind for Lucy and the feds. Can't wait. Oh, that's shoot, what the heck's that from? That's the Mentalist, right? Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I was like, wait, I feel like I've heard the Red John
Yeah, I
before,
was like, wait, that took me a second.
but I was like,
Yeah.
is that the rookie? And I'm just not remembering it. Wow. Okay. And we covered the Mentalist over hiatus.
Yeah.
So, wow.
No,
Okay.
it's fine. It's been a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It like that's just kind of funny though. It's like Red John, like, because like I automatically when I was reading, I was like, what do they mean? Like angry John Nolan? Like what?
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
that's what I thought too, because like in Friends, like in one episode, Ross is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go Red Ross." So I was just thinking like Red John. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, because I think someone else, I want to say it might have been Emily from the Rookie rewatch, but I could be wrong. That might have mentioned that, like mentalist parallel
Yeah.
as well. But someone else on Twitter said it. So yeah,
Yeah.
could see it.
Janine had said, "Our Chenford couple. Why didn't we see Tim clap while welcoming Lucy back? The angst of the two as they sneak looks at each other. I'm so nervous and excited for the next couple of episodes. I have faith that they will find their way back to each other." She also said that Chris and Tamara welcoming Lucy home was very thoughtful and cute, but really Lucy got more PDA with a hug from Tamara than any from Chris. Yeah. She said the Rookie is not shy when it comes to kissing or hugging, so why haven't we seen Tim or Lucy be intimate with their love interest? They even cut the scene with Lucy and Chris in the bed. It's because the Rookie knows that Chenford is endgame. Honestly, they've had someone tweeting, like, there was a stretch, and there still kind of is here and there, like when someone just takes over the account and they just start dropping Chenford stuff. And
Yeah.
then there's also like someone that just drops a bunch of Nolan stuff. And like, remember when the premiere was gonna happen, we're like, wait, give us back to John. Like,
Yeah. Because it was like
person.
all
Yeah.
Chenford. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. I think the Rookie is secretly Chenford shippers, but they don't really like keep that secret to themselves. And the Rookie Feds is Brenson shippers, and they are full fledged into it. So
Yeah.
And then she even said, I have to admit, Chris finding that support group just felt like he is trying too hard. Lucy is so smart, and she discovered that clue that leads us knowing that Rosalind never really left. Um, and Janine said, I feel like all of this, like this was all Lucy, and no one's gonna take the credit for it. Yeah, I saw some people saying that too, of like,
Oh, really? Boo.
like Lucy should be the one to take down Rosalind because she's
Yeah.
had more like trauma and things like going on with her more so than like Nolan, and Nolan's like gonna get the commendation for it. And yeah, I mean, I agree. So Janine also said Angela and Harper teaming up is the greatest, and then Celina, love her. And Janine said that she thinks she is the making for a great Rookie. Nolan certainly had a rough first case. And she said, I think he has to stop overthinking. She said he'll make a great TO, and with Gray's mentorship, he will do good. And then her last bullet is Officer Cupcake. The kid had balls to pick on Tim too. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Well, that's what Alora said too. She was like, I have three words,
Oh yeah,
officer, cop, cake.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, because like when I was trying to like avoid spoilers, I like scrolled to do like one thing at the top of my Twitter page real quick. And then
Yeah,
people were just like out of like or like no context or whatever, and it was just like cupcake gifts. And I was like, oh my God, the alligator's back. That's literally my first thought. I was like, what? I was like, oh no. But nope, that that was not it. Not even close. It was just, oh my God, it was just so funny. Like unexpectedly hilarious
yeah.
for sure.
Um, oh my God, the spoilers. Like last week they started at like 2 p.m. Central Time, and I was like, wait a minute, when?
I
They
can't.
never start this early. But like this week, wasn't it like a few people were saying like, oh, this episode's like no big deal or whatever, like it's kind
Well,
of
no, it was
bad or
like
whatever.
people were like being like over dramatic, and then there were other people that were like, "Oh, well, don't listen to the people that are being over dramatic. It's not that bad." And I'm like,
Oh,
like, okay, like I don't know. Like I thought it was a fantastic episode.
yeah,
Like
I thought so too.
I like top tier, love it. I have no like bad things to say about it other than I am worried for Chris Sandberg.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I totally like stayed away from Twitter yesterday. So I did not see anything. Like usually like last week I was like avoiding it or trying to, and then just like still on Twitter, just blocking myself, like blocking my screen. Um, but yeah, no, I had absolutely no qualms with this episode. Literally what I needed after last week. So
Yeah, I know. I think we're just
just
coming off like the one Chicago like crushed our dreams and hopes and
literally
goals. So
stomped on my heart within like an hour and 10 minutes. It's fine, no big deal. I don't have pain from that.
like
I don't know.
literal tears.
Yeah. Like
Literal
I'm
tears.
still reeling from it.
Yeah.
No, but like honestly, I'm glad that like the rookie isn't necessarily a show like that. I mean, they've had their moments, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But like,
401 being one of them.
yeah. But like I don't have to sit on the edge of my seat and worry
No.
about my favorites in this show. And that like, I don't know. I'm just really glad for it. So
Yeah.
yeah. It feels nice and it felt nice and refreshing to have Celina introduced and Lisette welcomed back because like on our other shows, like we lost comfort characters and we lost some
Mhm.
of our favorites. And so like to have Lisette come back and Celina, like we lost characters, but like we gained a new one this week in a
Yeah.
TV world. And yeah. So
Mhm.
that's why the rookie needs to treat Lisette with I don't know, nothing but greatness. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But any other notes on the rookie?
Nope. I'm good.
I think we should just jump into rookie feds then.
Yes, which is another fantastic show, and everyone needs to go watch
Yes.
it. Like, we're going to keep talking about it. So, like, you guys really should just go watch it, unless you want to like fast forward through like an hour of
Which,
this. Like,
hey, I mean, you could
I mean,
definitely
yeah,
do
you
it.
do you, but
Yeah.
like, I'm
Listen,
telling you.
I get that rookie feds could be a lot for some. I get that. It's a lot like in terms of the language and like the jargon, but
Yeah, but it's
also
so, like
like,
just the cast makes
yeah,
it so
yes.
great.
The cast, the pairings, the characters, like I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So like we did last week, we're covering like one episode behind. So today when you're listening to this, which will be Tuesday, 103 is premiering tonight, but like we're covering 102. Just like because it's a little bit easier. But yeah, that's kind of our schedule for right now. It could change. So we're gonna cover Simone and her informant first with Victor Quincannon, and they're basically like finding an informant. Like they hand Laura and Carter hand them these big binders, and they're
Like
called their coloring
literally,
books.
like
Yeah.
ridiculous amount of paper in there.
And this is after Brendan's, kind of like reconsidering. And, so then they're like, well, like this will be a piece of cake. But Laura and Carter are kind of against it. And so because they ask, like, oh, what's like the hardest task to do first?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, finding an informant. So, Laura and Carter are not for it. And Brendan and Brendan and Simone are like, yeah, but we'll work our charm. It'll be fine. So Carter and Simone Carter heard that Simone busted a pill dealer this morning, like on her way to work. And he
Yeah.
asks if she can get him to inform him on his pill supplier. Simone's like, no problem, I got this. Like, I'll charm him. And so then they up the ante by starting a wager, which is fun. And so they head over to the LAPD Wilshire district, where Smitty leads them to the interrogation room. And we get this iconic line, and he's like, sometimes my aura intimidates people into silence. And Simone and Carter just look at each other, and Smitty's like, see, it worked. And I mean, I'm just speechless after that too. Like Smitty's just too much. So
Yeah. I just realized we got like an aura
uh-huh.
mention again.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't. Like, I'm sure none of this is like intentional. Or if it is, bravo. But I just feel like I'm like reaching on some of
Yeah.
these, but
I mean, it would be
it's
nice
still
if
so
like
good.
the aura was mentioned like in the same week. Like
Yeah.
technically, I don't know. I consider it to be like the week after, but whatever. Um, so then yeah, while interrogating the guy Simone brought in, like Anton admits that he just snacks pills from the pharmacy, and Carter's like, yeah, well, you lost Simone, because like he just admitted to not doing anything illegal. Well, not
Like not in a federal sense.
not in a federal sense, because he's stealing Vicodin, so like that's not good. But so then Anton's like, well, there is some shady stuff going down at my job, and he agrees to wear a wire, leaving Simone to earn the $20 from Carter. So Anton, or they brief Anton on what he needs to do when he goes in there. But he's freaking out and wants to bail. And Carter like talks him down, and Simone's just like, it's always best to and tells Simone that it's always best to deal with the facts. So he's got the $20 back now.
Yep.
So then Anton goes in and ends up getting caught, and like they bust some teeth out of him or whatever, or knock some teeth loose. Simone and the team like bust into the sterilized OR, and off the books plastic surgery is happening in there. The patient is Victor Quincannon, who is number 9 on the FBI's most wanted list. And Simone's proud that like they caught one of the world's most wanted criminals because of her CI. And we find out that like he runs one of the most violent weapon stealing operations in the world, and that his last reported sighting was in Luxembourg 4 years ago. So Elena comes in and she's like, well, the guy that you found isn't Quincannon, it's Walter Krebs, who's an LA local and a former postal worker, and he has no criminal history. So like they kind of deduce that basically Quincannon just wants a body double, and he's paying people to get plastic surgery to look like him. So
Wasn't that like the rookie like no, I'm probably gonna be wrong. I want to say it's 410 maybe, with like the prison guy that escaped and like wanted a body double. I feel like that was 410. Maybe
like
4. No, I think it was 410. I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say I feel like I remember that. So
Pretty sure.
And Simone's like questioning the guy who's the Quincannon look like, and we find out that he went through a vicious divorce and wants to start dating again. So he posted some thirst trap photos on Clip Talk, and like he gets DM'd by an anonymous account talking about an opportunity. And so that's why that kind of pays like the $1 million to be a body double for a prominent man. And then like if he wanted the part, he had to get surgeries, and that was appealing to him, but the money was more appealing than like anything. So when asked if he knew who the prominent man was, and he's with that kind of money, like he didn't care who the guy was. He just knew that he was going to be living in a mansion, taking Quincannon's meetings, driving his luxury cars, etc. And that's what sold him on it. And so the body double like had never met the real Quincannon and was supposed to report for training after like his 6 surgeries to learn his mannerisms and stuff. And he doesn't have an address, so like he just still has 3 more surgeries to go. So Carter and Simone let the team know that they like traced Krebs's wire payment to an offshore account that just so happens to pay the mortgage for a mansion in Laguna, where the real Quincannon is most likely living now. So the team busts into the mansion to find another Quincannon double who confesses that he's not the real guy. But he looks a lot like him. Like that was the kind of confusing thing. So then like he shows them his scars, and Simone and Carter confirm the identity of this new body double, with Simone like bringing up how she used her charm on Anton to get this spot. And Carter's like, no, that was my idea. And this is the final round of charm versus facts, and whoever gets him to flip wins. So they walk into the room. This Quincannon body double number 2 confesses everything right away. Like they don't even have to pressure him because he's just laying it all out there. So then he explains that this new guy like didn't like how the OG Quincannon was looking over his shoulder, and everything. So he secretly hired Krebs to take his place. So Krebs was really supposed to be like this number 2's body double. It's kind of confusing. Like there was one main body double, and then like a third one was hired. So but the new body double, the body double number 2 says that he wants the deal first, and the answers will come later. So Garz is like, I've got the AUSA signed off on body double number 2's deal, and there's a house in Miami for Quincannon, and we leave in 30. So they've got the second body double named Logan with them. And it's because he spent 2 weeks at the Miami residence becoming him, but he was blindfolded getting there. So like all he really knows is that it's some big spot on the water. So Laura shares Quincannon's profile, and he's looking for like seclusion and control, and Miami has a lot of that with the private islands. So Garz is like, we just have to figure out which one before we land. And then Brendan has a technique that will hopefully help them solve it, which is the sensory detail. And so like basically they blindfold Logan and then just like get him to like tell them where they went from the airport to the house, like how they got there. And hopefully it will give them some clues. So they pull up the possible location, show it to Logan. He thinks that that's it. And it turns out that it's owned by a shell corp registered in Luxembourg, which is where Quincannon was seen last. So the team ends up breaking into the place. They come across Andy and Mindy, or Andrew and Mindy, and who are just supposedly renting. They just moved in, the IDs check out. And so, it looks like it was a bust, and Brendan's hard on himself about that, but Laura's like, no, it's clever. And it's not on you that it didn't work out. So then Carter's questioning Andrew and Mindy, and someone's like getting pictures of the door just so that like they can, get that fixed. And Mindy's like, oh, so who's this Quincannon? And Carter's like, yeah, we can't discuss that. So they like Carter looks down at Andrew's shoes and he's like, we'll get those fixed for you. Like we'll file it, like an form on that. And so Andrew's like, no, it's fine. Like I've got plenty of sneakers. And that's what makes Carter suspicious. So he pulls Simone out, and Carter's like, Andrew says he's from Chicago, but he just, or no, yeah, Andrew said that he's from Chicago, but he's just said that he wears sneakers. And Carter's like, I was born and raised in Chicago, and people don't say sneakers, they say gym shoes. And so Carter says, like, what if Quincannon changed his own appearance into Andrew? And Simone's like, well, I could check if he has surgery scars, but that means that I have to go full Simone and charm him. And Carter's like, do it. So they see the scars, a shootout ensues, and then Garza, Carter, and Simone end up surrounding Quincannon and getting him. So on the way back to LA, Garza like can't wait to gloat about the case, while Simone can't wait to check this off in her coloring book. Side note, I love how they call it the coloring book in the FBI.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was just fun.
Yeah.
So then she goes to give Carter the $20, and he's like, he says that she closed the case too, so like it's a draw for now. I don't know. I feel like after this episode, I saw people saying that they almost sensed something between Carter and Simone. And I was kind of like, I don't know. I just kind of see it as like, I don't know, friendly banter.
Yeah, like he's just like finally like there's like warming up to each other, like
Yeah.
in like working together and stuff.
Yeah. So, like, yeah. That's it for the Simone and her informant part of it.
Yeah. And then obviously like Jennifer had mentioned, like Simone and Brendan were like going to get their informants. So I'll talk about, well, Brendan and his informant and everything else that happened because of that. Because poor Brendan didn't really have like the best day either, really. But I mean, like Jennifer had mentioned, he started out like even in like the what the heck's it called? Where Simone was in the wedding dress and he was in the tuxedo or whatever, the cold open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was already like his mind was already somewhere else because he was thinking about that like damn table read that he was gonna go to. And so like he's already like having like doubts about being an agent. But it was nice of Simone to like give him a pep talk, and like I love their friendship. And just like because she was the one that was like, like gotta make like big moves. So that's like what kind of like prompted Brendan to like push to do the CIs. And I just liked how like I don't know, just because like his confidence level was up because like he knew the perfect person to like turn into a CI. So like he was like, so I'll drive. And then, like I liked Laura's like little smile as like she walked out of the briefing room with him. She was like, okay, like sure, he's gonna drive.
Yeah.
I just thought it was nice. Um, and so like as they're um driving, Brendan tells her like that the person he wants to make into an informant is Joshua Mackey. He's a bellhop at the Seabury Hotel. And apparently it's also where like the cast of Vampire Cop used to party. And Brendan's like surprised that Laura's the one to like say this. And um he had asked if she like did some like research on him and like she did to like build a profile. And so her like initial profile of him is that he plays like roles or like has these characters that have like qualities that like he's might be lacking. And so that's why he like is drawn to them. And like I just liked that the like wow of Brendan's response was solely about like how wrong she was and not like about like that like her actual like profiling skill in
Yeah.
and of itself.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I just thought it was slick that they like made that differentiation like clear from the
Yeah.
get-go.
For sure.
So because he's like he had said that most actors don't get to choose their roles, and that ever since his first role he's been typecast. Wow, we both of us really speak tonight. We're having a time. um and so they get to the hotel. Joshua or like Brendan like calls him like Jay. And I just, oh my God, just their dialogue was just so funny because he's like, you want to help us? He's like, mucho. He's like, he was just so like, he was so down and like ready to like help them out. Um, and so like Brendan's like, okay, like, okay, so that's good. Like, you can give us like the lowdown on, shady stuff that goes on here. And he's like, okay, yeah. So like Brendan like gives him the card to like so he'll give them a call. And I just thought it was so funny that like Laura was like, do it for America. And he's like, I'm Canadian.
She said it so proudly too. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Laura, I
He
love you.
had like inflection or like tone that
Yeah.
like the actual like uh not like slogans, but like that like because that used to be like a popular phrase, and
Yeah.
like she had that same like intonation behind it. I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then obviously she was like, cue Brendan. He's like, okay, do it for the cash, and he's like, now we're talking. Like,
Yeah.
nice. And I also just realized that was like another like, well, the first Canada reference is just like in Melissa and Kevin both being Canadian,
Yes.
which I did not know about Kevin anyway.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny how they got like another like Canadian like reference in there.
Yeah.
Speaking of that scene, oh my God, I just like I had a moment. I'm still having a moment on this
I was
podcast.
gonna say you're still having the
I
moment
am
for it.
because like it's just oh my God. Like I don't think anyone understands. Like, oh my God. I just love it so much. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that scene. I don't even care if Lucy does end up printing out the selfie and sending it to Brendan. Like, I don't care. It was so good. Like, I just everything about the scene was so good. Like, I have nothing else to say about it just because like they just had like oh my God,
It was
it,
good.
it
It
was
was really
just
good.
so good. And like, God bless Kevin for releasing that scene like on his own Twitter page like
Yes.
the night before
Yeah.
the like Fed's account did.
And also, like, I'm gonna need either him or Melissa to share the actual like selfie.
No, like legit.
Like,
Please.
please, I have so many requests for content right now. It's not even funny.
Please.
We need
Like,
a Melissa and Lisette selfie. We need
yes.
a selfie of Melissa and Eric in their undercover wardrobe.
Yes.
We need the selfie of Melissa and Kevin.
Yes.
And I just know that Eric and Britt took one too. So I just need that too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Please. A
Like
selfie of
not
all four of them. That's
oh
it.
my God. I would literally like die and go to heaven. Oh my God. Not like I can't like not that I wasn't, let me be clear, not that I wasn't excited about like Melissa and Kevin having a scene, but like I don't know what it is. I was just like even more excited about like Eric and Britt having like a scene. I don't know why, it just was. Like just because like their character dynamics are like
Yeah.
similar, but it's just like so funny because it's like, another like tall and small
Yeah.
like thing, but it's just like their characters are both like, the like grumpy in the situation.
In less than a week, you had a Tim and Laura scene, and
Mhm.
then, or like an interaction, and then you had a Lucy and Laura interaction
Yep,
in
I
less
love
than
that
a
for
week.
me.
Yeah.
I love that for me.
Love it here. We love it
Winning.
here.
I don't know. I just get so excited and just like they're just like actors that I never in a million years thought would ever
Yeah.
work together ever. So it's just so cool. And yeah, so I mean, I could go on, but you guys can just go to my Twitter page and see the rest of my, like all caps.
Mentally, you're
Like
still
thing.
there.
No,
Like
I am
mentally,
like
you are
legit.
still at that Brenson interaction,
It was
Brenson
just
and
so
Shenford
good.
interaction.
It was so good.
Like
Like,
when we were outlining this episode, I was like, so you're basically taking the Brendan stuff because it's only
yes,
right.
yes. I just like, oh my God, just it was just so good. And just like, and like, dude, I don't know, because just like, Tim's like the sergeant and like Laura's the like, training agents and like they get to talk and like, so she can like, give him the rundown of like what goes on, which I kind of almost wanted to hear their conversation, but it
Yeah.
was fine because, like Lucy and Brendan were like super cute and it was fun. And just
Yeah.
the simultaneous, I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah.
It was just, oh my God, it was just everything. Like, so good.
People pointed out like the awkwardness between Chenford there in that scene, and I was like, I didn't see it. Like
Yeah, I must have missed it. I don't know.
they had like one look, or Lucy looked at him once, and I was like, that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, I don't know about the timeline either. Because, like,
Yeah.
I was assuming it was like, well, nope. I was gonna say I thought it was like before the undercover stuff, but that doesn't make sense
Yeah.
because Feds is involved with like the Rosalind thing.
In some way, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So
Who
I was
knows?
just so focused on like the time, like I was just like, hey, I don't even know about the timeline. Like, I don't even want to think of it, like where Chenford fits in terms of
Yeah.
that.
Um, I'm kind of afraid of what's gonna happen to you. Like if Brenson was ever to like get together and then they like went out on a double date or something with Chenford. Like I'm kind of afraid
Right?
of what would happen to you.
Oh my God, I think I would literally like combust. Like there'd be so many pretty people on the TV screen at one time. I would just be like, "Oh my God."
Okay, so maybe not like a double date then, but like what about a
Like I
hangout
can't.
session with like the FBI team and the rookie
I
team?
can't. That'd be so fun. That'd
We
be
need
so
that.
fun.
Why didn't we put that on our wish list? We should
I
have.
don't know. Maybe just because like I literally like I mean, I thought I was like reaching with like the, like, oh, maybe something can happen with, like Brendan and Laura or whatever.
Mhm.
Like they can be paired up, like, just like in a working way or whatever,
Yeah.
or maybe more than that. But I'm just like, oh my God, I just like never thought that like Chenford would be. I mean, I knew like they were like gonna cross over, but I just didn't know
Yeah.
who they were gonna interact with.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, but the rookie Feds account like put that caption or whatever, like seeing double or a double date, and I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse you? Like, what?
Yeah, and I didn't understand that. And then I was like, well, maybe it's because like two of them are Canadian, but like I don't know. And then at first I was like, well, it's because Brenton is like Chenford. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
There were multiple ways to infer that, I guess.
yeah, yeah. No, it was so good. But anyway, that was a long tangent. I'm not even going to apologize though, because like I said, I don't really think anyone fully understand. Just oh my God. Just
Yeah.
actors that I never thought like would ever work together, like actually shared a scene, and I'm just oh my gosh.
Honestly, like if you've watched Rookie Feds, like if you started watching episode one, like
Yeah.
people were shipping Brenton right then and there, like first episode. So honestly, like we're not even sorry for our love for them and like fangirling over these four.
Yeah.
So
Because it's like a well, what how do people say it? Like gender swap, like Jenford is like
yeah,
Brenton.
yeah,
Um, which yeah, I mean there are like similarities. I wouldn't say they're like exactly the same, but just there are like
right,
some similarities and
yeah, some parallels.
yeah. But anyway, back to the like the remainder of the section in the episode. Um, and so like Brendan, like when they're in the briefing room, I guess they call it, he got a text and like Josh had said that he got something for them. Um, and Laura's like, well, I wonder if this is gonna like, beat out Simone's CI. And Brendan's like, why you gotta harsh my mellow? And she's like, I don't know what that means. And like as they're leaving though, you like hear her say that, and I just, oh my God.
The way
That
that she said that
so
though,
good.
like her voice was like cracking, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, I love them so much. And it's literally only the second episode in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
give them to me right now.
No, it's so good. I was just like, oh, they're just so, oh my God. Just, yeah. So bravo to Kevin, which I should also note, I've been saying his last name wrong. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Oh God,
Oh
I love
dear.
us. I love us.
Yeah.
We're so unhinged sometimes.
Yeah. It's Zegers. So, that's how you say his last name. And then, so just wanted to put that out there too, because I had apparently been saying it wrong. And yeah. But bravo to Kevin and Britt for portraying these characters. Like they're just so good. And we just love them. And like I mean, like this episode, like it just had like little moments
Yeah.
like between their characters. Um, and so like they get to the like back to the hotel, and like Josh spots a congressman with like a blonde-haired woman, and they're just like talking at I guess like the hotel bar or something. And Laura's like, okay, well, we can't like move on that yet because there's like no evidence of a federal crime. Um, and but like Brendan like sees an envelope being exchanged, and he's like, oh, okay, well, what about like money being transferred? Um, and so he just like before Laura can even like blink, I mean, because she like takes a phone call or whatever, like talks to Garza for a minute. He's just like off and like questioning the blonde haired woman who apparently is actually the congressman's wife. Oops. Like,
Yeah.
and Brendan, like, he just full on, he like, it's like, Agent Akers from the FBI. Like, he was so like professional, but like it just backfired on him so much. Um, because apparently, the congressman and his wife, like, they like role play at the hotel. Yeah. So Brendan like royally screwed that one up. And I mean, so like while I don't blame Garza for like getting angry, I just felt so bad for uh Brendan,
I know.
like getting yelled at.
Like, and I loved how like they both had like walked in there and Garza was like, wow, I'm pissed or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It just but I felt bad. And like Brendan was just like such a sad little puppy dog.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, he just looks so sad. Just want to give him a hug. And I thought it was like good of like Laura to like stand up for him and like try to take like the blame away. 'Cause she was like, Matt, like, and then she like pointed to herself as if like, like that's on me. Like it's not,
Well, it was the heart thing. She was
yeah,
like gesturing to her heart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, because like poor Garza, he doesn't need any more stress in his life. Um, but it just like, I don't know, it's just good that like she just, yeah, just like she, stuck by him and like, yeah. And then I guess like, well, it's like nighttime now. Um, and like I don't know where the heck he's sitting. Like it's like a almost like a patio kind
Yeah.
of like picnic table area.
I feel like it's kind of where like Carter and Laura like had those fries or whatever when Brendan and Simone were talking in the
Oh,
first
maybe.
episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but anyway, so he's just like he's just chilling by himself. And Laura like spots him as she's walking out and like decides to talk to him. Um, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine." And he's like, "No, you're not." Like, so she already is like calling him out. Um, and is like, "Well, I reworked your profile." Um, and so she's like, as she's like saying that like this, she's like sits down and is like, you have this like, desire to be wanted, to be like, praised for like the things that you do. And like he's chosen a job where they look at the failures more than they do the successes. And so like essentially like if he can't deal with it, then like he'll either quit or she'll have to fire him. And then he'll be a cautionary tale of
Yeah.
the actor that couldn't hack it um, in the FBI. And I was like, oh, hi, rookie parallel in
Yeah.
dialogue. Like, nice to see you. Um, and just, I don't know, like, there's just something about, like, I don't know if this was just like a Kevin thing, just like how he just, I don't know, just like is, or if it was like a, way to like play it. But just like Brendan still just had like a soft, like, look on his face. Like,
Yeah.
even as Laura was just like telling him this, like, like here's a heavy dose of reality for you.
Yeah.
um and I think I feel like maybe Nikki was the one to say this or something on like Twitter at some point, and she was like, Laura just like drops this like truth bomb, and then she's just like, okay, bye. Like
Yeah.
so cheerily, and like, just the complete opposite of, like how she just was.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, she made some good points because it is like kind of, she kind of just like laid everything out.
Yeah.
Um, and so obviously Brendan has some things to think about. Um, I don't know like when the heck he was supposed to go to this table read, like when, because it's like, isn't like the FBI, like I didn't really know they get like days off or anything, like
I
I
would
don't
think
know
that
like
they would have
when.
like a day or two off, but I would think that
Maybe,
he would
I
have
guess,
to, I
be
don't
like
know,
on
like,
call, like how like nurses or like hospital people are, like
well, I
doctors. I
wouldn't
don't
think
know.
that he would be able to choose this day for the table read. Like he's not. So
Yeah.
he would have to hope that it was his day off. That or maybe like he went on like a lunch, like on his lunch
Maybe.
period or something. I don't know. The
Yeah.
whole like rookie timeline, even down to things like this, is so confusing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has to be, or unless we're just like all overthinking it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, so Brendan does go to the table read with, I guess, like Mr. Santiago's like the, legendary director that he's always wanted to work with. And he like reads the scene. Um and like, everyone claps and he like did a good job. We hear like just a little portion of the scene.
Mhm.
Um and he's like walking out talking to, I guess, like his like co-star that would be like if they decide to move forward with the project, like in that
Yeah.
um piece. He was like talking to her, and then he's like, oh, I'm supposed to leave my script inside, right? And she's like, yeah. So he runs back inside. Um, as he's like dropping his script off, he like hears um Ross, the producer, like is on the phone in the um like office, I guess. And it's just like kind of a suspicious phone call. And so like the next day, Brendan kind of still has this like on his mind, and he's like is talking to Simone, and he's like, I think he's laundering money. Like, but he's wondering like what he should do, like what he should do about it, or if he should even do anything at all.
Yeah.
And I just like how Simone was like, well, are you ready to like, give up the FBI when you've only like just like started
Yeah.
in it? Um, yeah. And like, I don't know, there were just so many like little parallels in like dialogue that I found in like the Feds episode.
Yeah.
Um, and because like the even like Laura's thing to Brendan about, like this one wasn't your fault, like by the truck was like a little bit of a Chenford like parallel. So I don't know, just yeah, there are just so many little things that I enjoyed about this episode too of Feds, and just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, even like they're even the thing like they're in the middle of the shootout, right? And she's like, when he hears that the like the well Mindy, quote unquote, is like emptied the clip or whatever, like of the gun. And she's like, she's empty. And Laura's like, want to peek your head in, make sure? And he's like, really? No. Like,
Yeah.
it was just so funny. Like, you're in the middle of this like shootout, and like you still have the opportunity to be like sarcastic
Yeah.
and just like, oh my god, it's just so good. Um, and so obviously, like Jennifer said, like the case, they took care of the case and everything. And so like the end, well, they like ended the episode like Laura and Brendan did, but
Yeah.
like the like start of their end scene is like Laura's just like out for a run in her neighborhood. She's like going down the street, and then just like the camera pans over, and like Brendan's there leaning on
Yeah.
his car, just like casually chilling, waiting for her.
Kind of
And
like
then
freaks her out.
yeah, she like kind of just like halts and is like, what are you doing here in my neighborhood?
Yeah.
Like, how did you know this was my neighborhood? Which also, side note, I like totally like I got that part of the dialogue right in my little like prediction of here's what I think they're going to say to each other.
Yeah.
Because she's essentially like, what the heck are you doing here? And so he was like, well, I did some research of my own, and like he worked up his own profile of her. So he thinks that she's like tough on him because she like needs him to succeed. Like they're equally invested in his success because he's a reflection of her.
Mhm.
Um, and I just love how she was just still like, she didn't really show like any like emotion on her face like as he was talking. She just like, and even her responses were still kind of just like monotonous, and she's like, careful, Proby, when he mentioned like that her self-esteem took a hit over the last year.
Yeah.
And I just like how like Brendan called them like, well, partners in a way.
Mhm.
um yeah, but she's still not buying it, like, his whole like reason for showing up here. She's kind of hinting like, what are you really doing here? um and so he asks, well, how would she like to recruit a Simone level informant and sabotage the best acting role he'll ever get? And Laura's like, I'll go get dressed. And I didn't notice this until I rewatched it. He like smiles and then looks back as she's like going up, and I was like, sir, do you mind?
Oh my gosh.
Like, I can't with him. I mean, it wasn't like directly like
Like
at
at her.
her, but
Yeah.
just like in the general direction. I was like, okay.
The trope, like when one is looking at the other and the other like doesn't know. Chef's
Yep.
kiss.
They do that
Chef's
so well.
kiss. Yeah. So I wonder, like, if Brett was on Twitter more, like, if they would kind of, I mean, and like as the season goes on, obviously, because again, we're only 2 episodes in at this point. Like, let's be real. Let's be realistic here. They're not gonna like hook up within like the first like 4
No.
episodes.
No.
And if they did, I don't know. That's like too soon for me.
That would be like way out of left field. Like I wouldn't even want that. I just
No,
like want
I'm good
to
for slow
and have
burn.
her be in.
But I wonder if they would like ship Brunson just as much as like Melissa and Eric ship Chenford on Twitter. Like that's where I was getting at before all of that. So like, yes, that was my main point. Was like, I wonder if Brett was on Twitter more, if they would be shipping Brunson more, like obviously later in the season.
Yeah.
Like Melissa and Eric like ship and troll Chenford lovers. I don't know. But yeah. So
But I just love how like Kevin like calls her like B Rich.
yes.
Just cute.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. I just love just like all the there's just some like magic about like the rookie like sets and casts because they all just become such fast friends.
Well, even like, did you notice that like on Liseth's post or whatever, like Camille Gady like had commented and was like, I love that crew or something, and like Jenna Dewan had commented on Melissa's and was like, miss you guys, and they're all just like one big happy family.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. So like for the end of the episode, well, for them anyway, I just thought it was funny how like they show up and then Roz is like thinking that like Laura's Brendan's agent. And he's like, you're hot, she's hot. And I'm like, what are you like what? Like that was just so random. But she's just like, no, I'm not his agent, but I am a federal agent, as is Brendan. And so apparently Brendan did some digging and found out that the money that was laundered was for the Serbian mafia. But they won't arrest him if he agrees to be like their informant. So of course he's gonna take the deal. And I just thought it was so funny how like Brendan like looked back and was like all proud, and Laura's like, don't get cocky. Like, no. Like, slow your roll. But yeah, I just love them if that's not already evident, and like they can do no wrong. And I just so good.
Yeah. So we ship in this house, we ship Brenson. Either as a romantic partnership, a friendship, like anything. We just ship them. Yeah.
Yep.
So then we're gonna talk about Simone and the Cadillac. So the Bureau hasn't issued Simone a vehicle yet, so she asks Cuddy if she can use his Precious's Cadillac. And he's like, no, but then ends up letting her drive it. And she's on her way to work when she sees a woman chasing off a kid who's selling Vicodin, which is Antoine. And so Simone like goes after him in the car. So she stops him by opening her car door and taking him down to the ground. And then she like looks at the car door and it's all dented. So she stops Celina at the Bureau, and Elena's like, yeah, I'll get it into the motor pool to try and get it fixed. So Elena stops Simone and, says that the motor pool didn't have time to work on it, like after their first day. But they will tomorrow. So like that doesn't make things any better for Simone. So she like goes home and she's like covering the car. And Cuddy comes outside and he's not happy. And she thinks that it's about the car, but it's actually about Anton because Cuddy knows his dad, who claims that Antoine's working for her and the FBI, and Simone's like, I can't discuss that. But Cuddy comes to the conclusion that she made him an informant. And so Cuddy's like, if that's your way of changing the FBI on the inside by convincing our people to risk their lives by snitching on each other, like that's not the best way. And so Simone fights back, and he's got his way of helping the community and she's got hers. And so then Cuddy's like, well, that's systemic disenfranchisement, which is real. But Simone's like, I may or may not be doing what I may or may not be doing for Antoine is meant to help him. And so they're obviously at odds over this, and he's disappointed in her. And so at the end of the episode, like the charges were dropped against Antoine and he has a fresh start. And so Cuddy gives her credit, and that he sees her and she's trying to make a difference in her own way. But it's just gonna be like hard, and it doesn't always mean that he's gonna agree with her. So then like he gives her a hug, and like the Cadillac got fixed, but Cuddy still notices that there's a dent there. His reaction, oh my god, it was gold.
It was
was
so
gold.
funny. Like you could just pause that moment at like any split second and it would be like meme worthy.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. So then she wonders how he can tell, and he's like, oh, a father always knows. Like, what did you do to Precious? And she's like, oh my god, it's a car. Like,
Yeah.
so good, so good.
Yeah. Oh goodness. There were like I just like how like Elena has like scenes with everyone. I'm just kind of realizing
Yes,
that. Like,
yes, same.
because like she had some with Simone, and she obviously had some with Garza in this episode. Um, in like the first episode, she was like, palling around with like everyone,
Mhm.
in like the briefing room and stuff. I just like it. I like her character. Because I
Yeah,
remember like some people when they first saw her in that like one promotional photo, they were like, oh, who is she? Is she gonna be like a new, like person or whatever? But she's definitely I just like her.
same.
Um
I almost wonder, like, she's his niece, but like we don't know how old she is. She's
yeah,
definitely like younger than like Laura and Brendan, but
yeah,
I wonder, like, has she went to the academy? Is she just kind of testing this out to see if she wants to do it? Like,
yeah.
I'm so interested to learn more about Elena.
Hmm. Yeah. So for Garza and Elena, obviously his like heart condition is worrying a lot of people. I just thought it was hilarious that Laura's like the first one to notice that he's eating a burrito, and she just like literally takes it and throws it in the garbage. And then
Yeah,
like doesn't even like turn away from him to do so. She just like still stares him down as she's like tossing it in the trash.
yeah,
Um and Garza being Garza, like seriously like wants to get it out of the garbage. Um and so he like literally is like trying to do that, and then Elena like asks what he's doing. He's like, nothing. So then he kind of has to like stop, and like so that was kind of like her kind of maybe like first like inkling that something's not like all right with
yeah,
him. And so later on when she asked what he wants for lunch, oh, this was so good. Felix did this line so well too. He was just like, double bacon cheese salad.
yeah,
um and so apparently it's a beet salad, to be specific. um because I mean he says later, he's like, beets are the new beef. Which I can't say, it's a little bit of a tongue twister too, just like those words. um but like Elena's not really like buying that, but she'll like, she ends up getting in the salad anyhow. She's like, just get me the damn salad. um and so obviously, like I said, she's not really like totally convinced. Like she just thinks that like all of this is just like odd behavior for him, because like even the
yeah,
next day when she asks, if he wants like a hash brown, he's like, no. He's like, just starts to walk away, and she's like, because the Dio I know would, like love to have one.
mhm,
Um and I just like how they like use Spanish too.
yes,
I appreciate that. Um and so he finally like kind of, just like is like, okay, I'm gonna tell you. And so he tells her that he's been having like some heart issues, but like he's handling it, and like he's like, you can't tell your mom. And I just thought it was funny. She was like, you scared of your sisters? And he's like, no. And he's like, yes, I am. Like a little bit. Um, and so, but like he'll tell them like, I think he said like on Sunday or something, like when they like the next time they see each other. And So like if she can just like wait until then, like he promises that he'll, like let the people like, closest to him know what's like really been
Yeah.
going on. Um and she's like, well, good, because you're my favorite uncle, and I'd be sad if you croaked. And I was like, okay. Like she just, oh my gosh, just cracks me up. And
Also, though, like,
love them.
don't we all have a favorite aunt or uncle? Like, I know I do. So,
I have quite a few. Well, because my mom was one of 7 kids, and so I have
yeah,
a lot of just on one side of my family. But I don't know. Yeah, I honestly can't say. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I would deny it if someone ever
I
asked me, but yeah,
yeah, yeah. But that was kind of it for them. I'm just glad. I don't know. I like that they carried that, like, because he had like originally mentioned his niece like working for him
yeah,
in like the rookie like backdoor pilot episode, and so I just like that they actually like followed through with that
yeah,
storyline.
yep.
So,
So then the last little bit we have is Carter. And Tracy's, still bugging Carter about betraying Garza. And he's just not wanting to do it. She says that she can get him the promotion in New Orleans, but if he doesn't help her, then like he'll be demoted to pushing papers, quote unquote. And so he finds it odd that Garza doesn't like put a case number on this active operation with Quinn Cannon. And we see him kind of considering to do it, but like he doesn't act on it. And he even brings it up to Garza, and Garza's like, Tracy will talk to us, or Tracy will come after us about it, but like in due time. Um, and so then, Carter's wife drops by his hotel room with some clothes for him and tells him about and he tells her about the dream job. And, she asks who's like hooking him up with it. And he mentions Tracy. And his wife's like, yeah, no, she's a snake. But Carter's trying to get her to let him do this. So then at the end of the episode, Carter comes into Garza's office and confesses to the blackmail. And it turns out that Garza ended up generating a case number from the beginning, which Carter also tells him he like considered reporting Garza not wanting to do that in the first place. So Carter's like, or Garza's like, I hope that you don't have to be here, but I hope that you stay. And so that's kind of where we leave off with Carter and Garza. So yeah. And then we do have just one listener thought on the rookie feds. Carrie, do you want to take it or do you want me?
sure, I can take it. So Janine had said she loves Carter and Simone as partners. Their contests and bets remind her of Chenford's bets. Oh, I kind of forgot that I forgot a Chenford moment. Wow. I I kind of did forget that Chenford had like bets though.
Two
Yeah.
sets of bets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Janine respects Carter for going against Tracy. Janine said, I think she's a witch personified.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Janine loved that even his wife tells him Tracy's no good. Um, and she said Brenson reminds her of like early Chenford, and she really loves the cast and their chemistry. And uh, she said that, Cuddy should really give like Simone a chance to explain things before telling her that she's in like the wrong like line of work. But she's glad that towards the end they like hugged and kind of made up.
Yeah.
Even though she hurt his, precious car. So Janine last thought was she's impressed with Garza. Um, she's enjoying that like he's like the boss, and that Elena is great as well, like interacting with him and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what, like fun thing that I found out last night that I just happened to stumble across, like, um,
Okay.
so the woman who plays Tracy
Hmm.
is married to Brandon Routh, who was in season 3 of The Rookie. Are you following me? Okay.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then and then Brandon and his wife, who plays Tracy, they were on the CW show that Lisette was on, but like they left the season before she came in.
Oh, Legends
Yeah.
of Tomorrow.
I always
Yeah.
think that's Legacies, but it's Legends.
I knew that Brendan was, but I didn't know his wife was. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Isn't that like really cool and
Rock
kind of
on. Well, 'cause I
freaky?
knew like they were friends with Nathan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, which
They're
I
all
still
friends.
thought was cool, and I didn't know before,
Yeah.
like,
I didn't know that either.
6 months ago.
Literally found out all of this information last time. It was like, oh my God. Like, and I just stumbled across it.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I know. And they did
Love
come
that.
back for like an episode, I think, in Legends. But I
Mm.
don't think they were with Lisette in that one. They might have been because I think I did see like a promo pic that like one of them posted. So yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just like
Well,
I was spiraling last night because I was like, oh, like the actress who plays Tracy is married to Brandon. That's cool. And then like I saw
mhm.
a picture of like them with Nathan, and I was like, okay, all makes sense. And then I saw that
Yeah.
they were on Legends, and I was like, wait, Lisette was on that. Yeah, I was just like, oh my God, my mind is blown right now.
Yeah, there's a
So
whole web, like maybe we should make like a graphic one of these days, like all the connections we've ever come across.
yeah, because like
Um,
Nathan's brought on people from Castle and like from his
yeah.
other shows to like
Mhm.
guest star. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder like who he'll bring on to Feds. Well, he's not an exec producer on Feds. Nisi is. But I
Oh, he's
would
not.
think
I thought he was.
he might be. I don't know. I would think that he would still have some kind of sway or something.
Yeah.
Like the guy who played Victor Quincannon, or like was the picture of him and who looked a lot like him.
Mhm.
He's been in a lot because I was like, this guy looks very familiar. He's been in a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah. But do we have any other notes on the rookie and rookie feds?
Nope. Well, no. Everyone should just go watch these shows if they're
Yes.
not already.
I mean, I would
They're
hope if
great.
you're listening to us that you're already watching The Rookie, because if not, you've stumbled across a podcast and you have no idea what it's about, which, yeah,
That's fair.
go watch The Rookie. It'll all make sense.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Rookie Feds, like, check it out. It's not too late to catch up. And
No,
also,
it's
I
really
mean,
not.
I was gonna say, like, you can just kind of drop into any episode, but no, it's not too late to catch up. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, you can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at Shop Talk the Rookie Podcast at gmail.com with all of your thoughts. You can find us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at jstark804.
And I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And if you liked this episode of Shop Talk, we would really appreciate it if you left us a rating and review. Really helps out the podcast and helps everyone find us. And then make sure you check out our TeePublic store. They're having some sales this month, so we'll definitely be sharing those. And then next week we'll be covering 504 of The Rookie and 103 of The Rookie Fed. So, yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Go get 'em, boo.